Welcome, Sarah. So we haven't met before, and so I haven't discussed anything with you about what you do for a living or anything. So we're really
We
flying.
haven't. It's really nice to
Going,
meet you.
welcome. So tell us all about what it is that you do and how you got to be where you're at.
Oh, right. Okay. So I my title I get is personal stylist. So on a practical level, I help sort out people's wardrobes. So when people are really overwhelmed with their wardrobes, I can come in and declutter and help them get organised. And if they're scared about shopping, I can help with that. I can take them shopping. I can take the stress out of it and source things for special occasions, or if they're not sure what to buy for the new season. And I also do the colour analysis, which is showing people what colours look best on them. And that's sometimes a real eye-opener, because there's normally some colours that people hadn't thought about before, which look amazing. So I guess those are the three things on a practical level. But what I find is it always goes a bit deeper than that, because normally when people come to me, it's because it's a loss of confidence, and a kind of a feeling of not knowing where they're at in terms of they're not sure how to put clothes together, or they feel like, oh, am I too old to wear that? Or, there's normally a sort of a deeper issue going on. So it's great, because I find that sort of doing these services does give people that little bit of a mojo back afterwards. And they get so much more out of it than just kind of decluttering, if you know what I mean. So they kind of feel more confident about wearing things they wouldn't have thought of before, or getting those things out of their wardrobe they've been saving for best, and I encourage them to wear them.
Brilliant.
So yeah, it sort of goes, I say, a little bit deeper than just the clothes, if that makes sense. But I think sometimes personal stylist is a funny term, because it's not all about kind of glamour and fashion, and I think it kind of sounds like that, but it's not really. It's just helping people to feel better about getting dressed, really.
And for me, I think I know I'm always trying to hide my gut in some way, and often I think we go about the wrong way of doing that. I've been told by people in the past that, you don't, if you're wearing something particularly large to overcover it, you're kind of then expanding the way you look as well. So it's kind of finding clothes that tailor in the right way and fit in the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think once you understand your body shape, and you can learn how to dress it and make the most of the great bits about your body, and it's not about size or anything like that. It's about just learning how to dress, so you feel comfortable and put together, no matter kind of your dress size. That's not really relevant. It's just knowing how to dress your shape, and everyone can look amazing. It's just kind of knowing those little ways to dress your own shape.
Absolutely. I think it's and for me, I sort of run a mile. I'm one of those people that I hate going shopping. I absolutely hate it, because I don't like the way my body looks. And then picking up something off, I haven't got that natural ability to know what looks good. It's some people have that. They can pick something up straight away and they know it'll look great. And I'll pick something up and I think that would look great, but then it doesn't look great on me. So there's a real talent to it, isn't there? And an understanding, a skill in knowing what's going to look good on somebody and what won't necessarily sort of highlight the best aspect of a person.
Yeah, so, absolutely. I think I really enjoy it. I really love the fact that with a bit of gentle persuasion, you can open people's eyes to things they might not have thought of before, and it is like I say, giving that confidence back to them, but actually it is a learned skill. So you can, when you've learned what looks good on your body, then going shopping probably isn't going to be as stressful, because then you'll be looking for those shapes and cuts and things, so you'll have more of an inkling about what is going to suit you. Do you see what I mean? So you can sort of learn that. But yeah, absolutely. I think shopping is stressful, isn't it? Especially after COVID. I think being in a big crowd again and being in that environment for some people is quite overwhelming. So you know, it's nice to take that pressure off. And if somebody really doesn't want to go around the shops, then I sort of offer an online service as well, so I can sort of pick things out and send them links so they can have a look and maybe buy, or I can take stuff to people's houses. So I kind of work with people like whatever they feel comfortable doing, you know, because I understand that not everybody finds a trip around the shops enjoyable.
Yeah,
So I can work
definitely
with
do.
them to offer something different. Yeah, but I suppose I got into it really. So I had an admin job which I was made redundant from in COVID, and I really enjoyed it because it was my first job back after having children, and I was really enjoying being back at work. So I was quite upset when I was made redundant. I was like, oh no, you know. But then having that time to kind of really step back and think, well, you know, where am I going to go now? And it was a friend of mine who suggested I could look into it, because she'd always kind of come to me for help when she needed to, when she had a special occasion or whatever, or she was going on holiday. And she said, oh, have you ever thought about it? So I started to sort of investigate, and I didn't really know that personal styling was a thing at all, but you know, that it was a whole industry. So I started looking into it, and decided to sort of take the plunge and do a training course. So yeah, that no going back. I'm really pleased. It feels like a really good fit with me. I really enjoy the helping people, and the fact that it does go a bit deeper. And also it's something that I can fit around my family, which is great as well. So yeah, I'm really pleased that I did kind of take the plunge. I mean, you're never too old to try something new, as they say. So
Absolutely, good for you, brilliant. Have you always had an interest in sort of style and fashion and clothes? Has that always been a passion of yours, or is it something that you kind of learned over the years?
Yes, I think it's always been sort of in me. My mum reminded me that my favorite toy when I was a kid was one of those fashion designer things. I don't know if you remember, they were kind of stencils, and you could like change the top and the bottom and the middle, and then you'd create different outfits.
Oh yes, they used to bend around a piece of paper and you could
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite toy as a child, and so when I decided to do the personal styling, my mum was like, oh yeah, I remember you sort of playing for hours doing that. So yeah, she wasn't that surprised.
Funny.
So yeah, and I've always, in my downtime, I've always kind of like read fashion magazines and things, and but I think the other reason it kind of fits is because it's nice, because I normally work with people one-to-one, and I'm quite a quiet person, and I find it difficult in big groups and things. I'm quite introverted, but working one-to-one with people I really enjoy. So it kind of fits really well with that. Although I have surprised myself, because I've done a few events where I've spoken in front of
brilliant
people, which I never ever would have thought.
For an introvert, that's amazing.
I think because it's something that I'm passionate about and I enjoy, that takes the fear out of it, if that makes sense. But I mean, certainly all the way through my working life and at school, I used to try and get out of speaking publicly whenever I could. But now I volunteer to do it. So yeah, it just goes to show, if it's a subject that you're comfortable with and that you enjoy, you can get over that fear. So
absolutely, it's so true, isn't it? Yeah, it's one of those things that it's really tough to initially start the process, but once you do, you can. And actually, it feels quite fun after a while, doesn't it? Because then you're talking about something that you love. So why wouldn't you want to?
Yes, that's so true. And I think for me, this whole so it's just coming up to 2 years now since I started, but I sort of looking back at like the personal journey for me has been amazing. You know, all the ways I've pushed myself out of my comfort zone has been amazing, really, when I look back on it. So yeah, it's benefited me in kind of more ways than just a job. It's been
there's so much to learn, isn't there, when you're running your own business, and you have to be the everything of your business while you're starting up. So yeah, it does definitely push you into ways that you never thought were imaginable. It certainly has for me with my business.
Yes, yeah. Yeah,
So
exactly. And I guess, are you quite one-to-one as well, Amanda, with yours?
I do, yeah, one-to-one with my healing, massage and reflexology, but I also run a daily online meditation group, which I'm massively promoting at the moment to try and get more people to join, because I know how
well, I'll definitely join you for one of those.
Okay, well, it's a really, I think regular daily meditation is so important, and it really connects people back in. And the reason why I started doing this daily meditation practice, but also started doing these chats, is because I wanted to be able to allow for people to connect in with their heart and feel their emotions, because often we are taught to suppress those emotions. And I think it's really important from my perspective. I know I became unwell. I had dis-ease because I was under stress. My father dying of cancer was a very stressful experience for me, and I became very unwell as a result. So my whole ethos is to try and work with the emotions to allow people to express themselves freely. And I guess, so which is why I sitting with in a daily meditation practice, we really get to understand ourselves incredibly well, but also we get to feel this wonderful sense of joy. And my particular meditation is about allowing people to manifest what their desires are. So it's just about sitting with what is it that you want to achieve, and working, your the steps within that allow for the flow of that to happen. But I guess for you as well, that the actually, while we're discussing this point, and why I get people to come and chat, is I ask them a question, which is a question that you get asked very regularly, and perhaps as an introvert even more so, you wouldn't want to express the answer truthfully, but I give you the opportunity in this moment, because this question is normally answered from the head. Mm-hmm. It's normally answered without thought, or with thought but with not connection to how you're actually. So the question is, how do you feel? How are you today?
So today I've got a kind of a mixture of feelings. So I was excited about meeting you and doing this. My mind, as usual, I feel a little bit of pressure, like it's racing ahead, thinking about stuff that I have to do. I think that's maybe just a mum thing anyway. All the things I've got to fit in, and so a little bit, that stress is kind of in the background. So excited to be here. Just a kind of a mix of things, really. I think I do personally find it difficult to stop and pause. And so what you were saying makes complete sense. So I think just giving people that space to actually pause in their day and, like you said, feel is really important. And I could definitely benefit from that, because I find that I'm normally rushing to the next thing, and I'm not normally having a pause to think about, okay, how am I feeling today? It's not something that I've built into my day, but I feel that I should, because I think it would really help to not have that almost like slightly panicky feeling about a to-do list all the time.
And actually, a lot of that is in a mindset. It's just in a busy mind, which we all have. It's normal for us to have a busy mind, but actually with the regular practice of meditation, it does allow for that mind to calm and slow.
I think that's really important.
My question to you is now that you must experience in your job people who become quite emotional, because I know from my experience, I've been in many a changing room feeling quite emotional, because I didn't like and appreciate my body, and it was a real close up for me. And putting something on that didn't fit right or didn't look good was then the real confrontation for me of I just don't like this vehicle that I'm in. And I guess you must see women who are going through that experience and feeling, for me, I just go into kind of shut down, and I don't want to deal with it or walk away. That's what my experience is. So I'm quite resistant to the whole concept of it all, because it shows for me, it brings me into that feeling of I don't want to feel like that, So I wonder how you manage that process with clients.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I completely understand. I mean, and myself, sort of like going through perimenopause as well. There's a lot of changes going on in my body as well. So yeah, it's really common. And for me, I think what I do is but I mean, first of all, if they are showing that to me, that's for me fantastic, not fantastic, but in that they feel comfortable enough with me to start with. So I try and build the trust, because I do want them to open up, and I do want them to tell me, what they are finding difficult, and because then from there we can then work on finding things that are going to work for them. So I think it's really important that they do open up. It's like you said about the feelings thing, we need to get to the core of it. What don't they like, and why don't they like, and why do they feel uncomfortable, and then it's like working with that to kind of show them that there are things that it's going to look great on your body. Let's try, and it's just like helping to gently persuade them to try, because most of the time it's because they're stuck in like you said, always kind of maybe in the same types of clothes that that's their comfort blanket. That's the things they've always worn, and it's then a bit of gentle persuasion, suggestions to help them, and just listening. Really, a lot of my job is kind of listening, and just being a listening ear, because it's not unusual at all, and everyone goes through it. Everyone's body changes throughout your life. You're always going to change shape after having children, menopause. There's lots of reasons why your shape will change, and that's kind of natural, but it's about kind of learning to navigate those roller coaster moments, and having some tools to kind of get through them. So there's lots of things that you can kind of gently suggest to make people feel better. And it's like the right colors, for example. The color can make a huge difference. If you're wearing colors that really make you look amazing, that can help. It's like accessories, because your body shape, it doesn't matter what your body shape is, you can wear accessories that look amazing, that really jazz up your outfit. So it's kind of making suggestions, listening, sympathizing, but letting them know that it's completely natural. I think sometimes people think that it's just them, that they're the only ones that are feeling like that, but it's not. I say everyone, particularly women, I think, go through those peaks and troughs with their bodies, different life stages. So yeah, I mean, I'm like to build that trust and hope that they will open up about that, because then the session is then just more rewarding for both of us, because I want to come away feeling that I've helped and that I've given them kind of equipped them with ideas and skills that they can use themselves every day. So yeah, I'd say it is a lot more than clothes.
Yes.
Which is why I don't really like the term personal stylist, but I'm kind of working on how I can get it across.
Yeah. It's kind of the whole image, isn't it, rather than the style or whatever. So and whereabouts are you based?
So I'm in Winchester, so pretty close to the town centre, which I love. I've been here for 11 years now. I grew up in Nursling and Rownhams, which isn't too far away where my parents still are. So yeah, it's great, and Winchester's a great place to be, because it's a it's a city, but actually it's a small city,
Mm.
and we're lucky enough to have lots of great local businesses, local boutiques, charity shops. So I mean, it's like you were saying about the kind of nervous shopping, and most of the people think about the big shopping centres and the malls.
Mm.
Actually, shopping in Winchester's nicer because it is supporting
It's
like
more.
those local businesses, and it's probably less stressful because it's a
Mm.
more intimate experience. So it's nice to offer that option as well as kind of the big centres.
Yeah.
And you often find lots of nice treasures because you know, they are like the more independent businesses, and
Yeah.
the charity shops are great too. So yeah, it's a great place to
Yeah,
be
it's
for what
quite
you
an
do.
affluent area, really, isn't it? So
Yes,
actually, you know, in your charity shop, you're going to get some pretty good items, I imagine.
yes, absolutely, yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's interesting because Winchester Fashion Week runs in October,
Oh,
quite
okay.
soon, 16th to 21st. And I'm doing an event for the very first time, which is
Brilliant.
working with the charity shops. So I'm excited about that because they do have so many amazing things, and it's nice to support them as well. So yeah, I'm excited about that, and getting people to. A lot of people do shop secondhand already, but there's still some people that are a bit resistant to it, or maybe not resistant but not sure where to start with it. So that's the aim, really, is to kind of help people see that you can pick up, you know, your basic things and unusual things,
Mm.
also to support the charities involved because
Mm.
they're all great charities. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, I regularly go into charity shops. So I think, well, nowadays we really need to be thinking about reusing, recycling
Yeah,
much
yeah,
more,
absolutely.
but
Yeah,
also to support the charities because
yeah.
it's been a tough time for COVID
It's been
for all
really
of
tough.
them,
Yeah,
and so
yeah,
yeah, I often pick things up from a charity shop,
yes,
which and
yeah.
you know, but nowadays charity shops have wised up a little bit. I think they're getting a bit more
They
pricey
have.
than they used to be, don't they?
Yes,
They used to
yeah,
be a lot cheaper, but yeah, I've often seen items there that have clearly never been used. They've still got the
yeah,
label on
yeah,
from the
yeah.
shop that they were in, you know, and people often do that. I've done it myself, bought an item of clothing and then
Mm.
realized that actually it doesn't really suit or doesn't fit or whatever. And then you end up taking it to the charity shop. So it's always worth
Yeah, absolutely.
going and
Yes,
having a
yeah.
look, isn't it?
You can find some great treasures in there, and another thing that people don't realize is that quite often big brands will donate bulk stock to charity shops. So you
Oh,
know,
okay.
you can literally find brand new stuff from some of the brands.
Yeah.
So they often will do that. So yeah, absolutely, you're right. You can just find amazing things in there, but they have wised up slightly, I think. You know,
Yeah.
if it's a good label, they know now, which
Yeah.
is good because you want them to,
You
you
want
know,
them to earn the money. Absolutely. Yeah,
exactly.
that is the purpose of it. So
Yeah, yeah, but
brilliant.
you're so right, and I think you know, everyone's a bit more conscious now about fashion, and you know, and I always encourage, my mantra is you just need to think about it. So you know, make sure that you're making considerate purchases. You know, gone are the days when you go out and just buy a load of cheap things which are just going to be disposable. You need to kind of think about what you've got already, what's going to work. So it's just, yeah, it's just, and that is so much easier, obviously, once you do know your body shape and what's in your wardrobe and what you like, then it does stop that wastage as well, because you're then not going to buy things that aren't suitable. So it kind of all fits in a big circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly I think you know, I do encourage people to kind of buy less, think about it more. So I think it's important. You know, there's so much shocking information around about the wastage in the industry. So yeah, I think we all need to be a bit more kind of considerate of that.
Yeah. And particularly with the cheaper brands of things that it
Yeah,
becomes very easy to just buy and throw, you know, and not
yeah,
consider.
absolutely. Yeah,
But
it
then,
does.
you
Yeah.
know, and also the materials that are used and then not environmentally friendly, you know, it's just not a great cycle to get into, is it?
That's right. Yeah, yeah, it isn't. And you know, I think those brands do have a place, but you've just got to buy considerately from them and not
Mm.
bulk buy and just be aware of what you're buying, really, like you say. Yeah, I think just shop more consciously, and that's, you know, that's where when you understand what looks nice, what looks good on you and your shape, then it just cuts down on that kind of buying needlessly, you know, because you're just always going to be in a cycle of buying things and then getting them home and not liking them and then keep going. So yeah, it's the personal styling does fit quite nicely with that, I think, in helping people to, you know, make more considered choices. So yeah, no, it's a good point. I think, I mean, I look back in horror when I think of when I was a teenager and we'd go shopping for an outfit for Saturday night, you know, and that was kind of the norm, and you might have only worn it once, and yeah, it's at times it's definitely changed, and you know, don't want to
although, you know, when I was a teenager, look at that, a long time ago, you know, it wasn't as affordable as it is now. So although you couldn't have done it that often to you know.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Things have got there's really cheap. It's more pocket.
And there wasn't the options in terms of sizing or, you know, variety that we have nowadays. Really. You were quite limited in the number of stores and, you know, all of that.
That's
sort of
true.
thing.
Yes, and there wasn't online, of course. So
there wasn't online, absolutely. Yes, back in the old days.
Well, I remember them as well. So
I've got the grey hair to show it. So, is there anything else that you would like to share with us today?
So one thing that I'm quite passionate about, for that I try and tell people is, I'm quite passionate because when we were children, you know, it was, you'd dress up and you'd love dressing up and you'd wear your sequin skirt and you'd or whatever you wore to dress up. And I remember my daughter, when she was 4, she wanted to wear her witch's dress to Marwell, which is the zoo near me. And, you know, I was sort of trying to persuade her not to wear it. And, you know, let's wear the shorts instead or whatever. And when I look back, I just think, no, that's not what we should, you know, what I'm trying to say is we should all have that feeling in us of wanting to just dress up and not worry about it and not worry about what anyone thinks, you know, just get that joy back that you had when you were smaller about putting something that you felt great in and going out. And, you know, even if you're just going for coffee, just put on like something that you feel good in. And, you know, that's what I'm always trying to tell people, is not save things for best and not think that you can't wear that and this and feel all those limitations, and just kind of just get out there and enjoy, you know, dress up and show up and feel confident, and that's what I kind of try and let everyone I meet, that's what I think is, you know, you absolutely, you can wear that sequin scarf out, why not, you know, because it's going to make you feel good, and actually everyone else will be admiring it, even though you think that you shouldn't be wearing it out to that place. It's just encourage you to feel a bit more freedom with your clothes.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for coming along today and sharing about your business and you.
Oh, thanks so much.
And yes, if you know of anybody else who would like to have a chat, please let them know. I'm always available. So
I will. That's been really nice.
Brilliant. Thank you, and have a beautiful day.
Thank you. You too.